Imagine that even today, somewhere in a silent corner of Europe, the tunic that Jesus wore on his way to Calvary still exists. A garment woven from a single piece of cloth without seams, preserved for centuries in a cathedral in Germany, hidden under strict conservation measures. It is not an object you can see every day. Only on rare occasions is the tunic exhibited, and when that happens, thousands of pilgrims travel from the most distant corners of the world just to stand before it, even if only for a brief moment. Its very existence defies time, logic, and the boundaries of faith. But it is not the only relic that has survived the centuries. There are others, real objects, physical footprints of a past that still breathes among us, waiting to be discovered. Today, I invite you to journey down a hidden path that connects history, faith, and mystery. We will travel together through 10 astonishing relics, ancient vestiges, silent witnesses of the most sacred moments ever lived by humanity. From the staircase Jesus climbed to be judged by Pontius Pilate, to the spear that pierced his side, each relic holds secrets, challenges, and forgotten promises. And stay with us until the end, because one of them, the last one we will reveal, could forever change the way you understand your faith, your history, and perhaps your very destiny. Number 10, the Robe of Jesus. Before being crucified, Jesus was stripped of his garments. The Roman soldiers took his clothing and divided it into 4 parts, but his tunic, a piece woven from top to bottom without seam, was not torn. According to the Gospel of John, they cast lots for it to avoid tearing it apart. That unique garment, which once touched the dusty roads of Jerusalem, might still be among us. In the city of Trier, one of the oldest cities in Germany, inside the imposing cathedral built centuries ago, rests what many believe to be the original tunic of Christ. It is said to have been brought from the Holy Land by Saint Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine, in the 4th century. Darkened by time, carefully reinforced to prevent deterioration, the tunic is rarely displayed to the public. But when it is, when the protective case is open for extraordinary exhibitions, entire multitudes cross oceans just to behold it for a few fleeting moments. It is not a mere ancient artifact. It is a silent testimony of sacrifice, a living piece of history that continues to inspire faith, awe, and reverence in those fortunate enough to see it. And we are just beginning this journey, because the relics you will discover ahead are even more astonishing. Number 9, the Staff of Moses. Moses, the great liberator of Israel, did not walk alone. By his side, inseparable, was his staff. With that rod, he challenged Pharaoh, turned the waters of the Nile into blood, parted the Red Sea, and struck the rock in the desert to bring forth water for his people. It was not a mere walking stick. It was an instrument of miracles, a physical extension of divine will. And though it may seem incredible, some believe that this staff still exists. In Ethiopia, in the sacred city of Axum, stands a monastery shrouded in mystery. There, in a sanctuary where only a single guardian monk may enter, it is said that 2 of history's most sacred relics rest: the Ark of the Covenant and the Staff of Moses. There are no photographs, no recordings, only stories passed down through generations. Some pilgrims claim to have glimpsed from a distance an ancient rod, weathered by centuries, yet firm, like the faith that preserves it. The monks insist this is the staff that turned into a serpent before Pharaoh's eyes, the very instrument that carved paths through the impossible. Can a piece of wood truly endure the weight of millennia? Perhaps the answer still lies hidden behind those walls, waiting for the day the world is ready to see it. Number 8, the altar of Abraham's sacrifice. In the burning sands of antiquity, one of the most intense moments of faith ever recorded took place. Abraham, the patriarch, received an impossible command to offer his own son, Isaac, as a sacrifice. The tension of that instant The pain, the obedience, and the divine mercy were forever etched into history. According to Jewish, Christian, and Muslim traditions, the exact place where all this occurred still exists, Mount Moriah. Today, that mount is known as the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. There, beneath the magnificent dome of the rock, a monumental stone remains exposed. Many believe it is the very rock where Abraham raised the knife, where the destiny of a nation and of all humanity hung by a thread. The site emanates an indescribable energy, a mixture of reverent awe and profound peace. It is not just another stone. It is the solid echo of a moment when faith triumphed over reason and the promise of an eternal covenant was born between heaven and earth. And this is only one of the traces that connects us directly to those sacred days. Number 7, the Holy Staircase. Among the most enigmatic relics of Christ's Passion, there is one that few know, yet whose very existence profoundly moves those who visit it, the Holy Staircase. According to tradition, Saint Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine, not only recovered the cross and the tunic of Jesus, but also brought to Rome from Jerusalem the staircase that Jesus climbed to be judged by Pontius Pilate. Today, this relic stands directly in front of the majestic Basilica of St. John Lateran, guarded as a living treasure. It consists of 28 marble steps, now covered by a layer of wood for preservation, but in certain points, small openings reveal red stains, protected under glass, believed to be drops of Christ's blood shed during his moments of humiliation and pain. Every year, thousands of faithful ascend this staircase on their knees in an act of penitence and reverence that defies the passing of time. Each step becomes a silent prayer, an echo of the suffering footsteps of the Messiah toward his destiny. And while history has tried to explain its origin, faith continues to breathe life into this ancient relic, which even today in the 21st century touches the hearts of those who dare to climb it with humility. Number 6, the altar of the Holy Sepulchre. Among all sacred places, there is one that rises above any relic, above any object, because it does not preserve something crafted by human hands, but the very space where the central miracle of Christian faith occurred, the resurrection. In the heart of Jerusalem, within the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre, stands the Edicule, a small stone sanctuary that protects the most sacred altar of Christianity. There, upon a slab carved into the living rock, the body of Jesus was laid after his crucifixion, and it was in that very place where, at the dawn of the third day, death was defeated. For centuries, pilgrims from around the world have traveled long distances, crossed deserts and seas, just to touch that stone, to pray before it, to feel the immensity of that moment suspended in time. In 2016, during a historic restoration, researchers removed for the first time in centuries the layers covering the slab, and beneath them they found a cavity that left everyone speechless. Some wept. Others stood silent in reverent awe, because beyond all science and all doubt, in that place one can feel something that transcends words, a sacred silence, a profound certainty, an eternal promise. And the most incredible part is that we are only halfway through this journey into the eternal. Number 5, Noah's Ark. Since time immemorial, the story of the Great Flood has echoed across nearly every culture of humanity, but in the Bible it holds a unique and profound power. Noah, obeying the divine command, built a colossal ark to save his family and every species from imminent destruction. For centuries, entire generations searched for signs of that immense vessel, lost among mountains and myths. And perhaps, against all odds, the remains of the ark may have been found. High in the slopes of Mount Ararat in Turkey, a mysterious formation was photographed in 1959 by a Turkish pilot. The image revealed an elongated structure, unmistakably shaped like a giant ship stranded among the rocks. Years later, archaeological investigations confirmed something even more astonishing. The formation measured over 150 meters, exactly the length described in the book of Genesis. Petrified wood remains, patterns of beams, and structural shapes far too precise to be dismissed as a natural coincidence. Today, the site is part of Noah's Ark National Park, and although not all scientists openly affirm it, thousands of visitors walk across that sacred ground every year, convinced they are treading upon the vestiges of humanity's second birth. A monumental reminder that even in the face of total destruction, hope can always find a refuge. Number 4, the Spear of Destiny. At the darkest moment of the crucifixion, when Jesus had already given up his spirit, a Roman soldier, Longinus according to tradition, pierced his side with a spear, and from the wound flowed blood and water. This act, brutal and sacred at the same time, was immortalized in the Gospel of John. Yet few know that this spear, the instrument that touched the side of God made flesh, might still exist. It is known as the Spear of Destiny, and for centuries it has been an object of desire, veneration, and fear. Today, the relic is housed in the Hofburg Palace in Vienna, Austria, preserved within the Imperial Museum. According to legend, whoever possesses the spear shall never be defeated in battle, a belief that led emperors like Constantine and Charlemagne to treasure it as their most precious talisman. Even Adolf Hitler, obsessed with the mystical power of symbols, sought to possess it during his rise to power. Beyond myths, the spear has been studied, moved, and hidden across centuries, protecting it from invaders and revolutions. Modern scientists have examined its composition, and although its authenticity is debated, its existence is undeniable. It remains a silent witness to human history, and perhaps a reminder that some objects carry not just matter, but the very weight of destiny. Number 3, the Shroud of Turin. Few relics in the entire history of humanity have stirred as much fascination, debate, and awe as the Shroud of Turin. It is an ancient and marked linen cloth that bears, in an inexplicable manner, the image of a man who has suffered torture, scourging wounds, perforations in the hands and feet, and a deep wound in the side. Details that match, point by point, the Passion of Christ as narrated in the Gospels. This sacred cloth is today safeguarded in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy. For centuries it has been venerated, studied, and debated by scientists, archaeologists, and believers. In 1978, an international investigation used cutting-edge technology to examine the shroud, and the findings were astonishing. There are no pigments, no brushstrokes, and no scientific explanation for how the image was formed. It was neither painted, printed, nor burned by human hands. The mystery remains intact. What is even more striking is the anatomical precision of the wounds, the mark of a crown of thorns, nails through the wrists, not the palms, as often mistakenly portrayed, and blood flowing from the wound in the side. The Shroud of Turin is not merely a relic. It is a living challenge to our understanding of what is real, of what transcends time and matter. And for those who are privileged to contemplate it during one of its rare exhibitions, it is not just a piece of cloth, it is a portal into the mystery of the resurrection. Number 2, the Tablets of the Ten Commandments. At the summit of Mount Sinai, shrouded in clouds and thunder, Moses received something more than mere instructions. He received the law itself, written by the finger of God upon stone tablets. Those original tablets, which marked an eternal covenant between God and his people, were lost to the sands of history. But in the heart of the desert, at the monastery of St. Catherine, at the foot of the very mountain that stands as a millennial witness, fragments believed by many to be authentic remnants of that divine encounter are kept. Within its ancient walls, protected for centuries by monks who have dedicated their lives to prayer and sacred guardianship, rest stones carved with ancient inscriptions, some in archaic Hebrew, They are physical vestiges, traces that could connect our era to the moment when heaven descended to earth in the form of written word. Furthermore, in the same place, there is a living bush that, according to tradition, descends from the very plant that burned without being consumed before Moses' astonished eyes. Walking through those stone courtyards, among centuries-old libraries and echoes of ancient chants, is like traversing a passage suspended in time, where it still seems possible to hear the voice that once spoke from the eternal fire. And yet, the relic we are about to reveal might be the most astonishing of all. Number 1, the crown of thorns. Amidst mockery and humiliation before being taken to Calvary, Jesus was crowned, but not with gold or laurels, but with thorns. A cruel mockery designed to wound not only his body, but his dignity. The Bible recounts how they wove a crown of thorny branches, placed it upon his head, and amidst blows and jeers proclaimed, "Hail, King of the Jews!" That crown, a symbol of the purest pain and the most absolute love, did not disappear into the mists of time. According to historical records, it was preserved by generations of faithful, safeguarded by emperors and kings. In the 13th century, it arrived in Paris and was protected in the majestic Sainte-Chapelle, built specifically to house it. Later, it was moved to the Cathedral of Notre Dame, where it remained as one of Christendom's most sacred treasures. During the tragic fire of 2019, as the flames consumed centuries of history, a group of firefighters risked their lives to save it. Today, the crown of thorns is protected in the treasury of the Louvre. It is not a perfect circle, as movies often depict. It is more of a garland of interwoven reeds, now stripped of many of its original thorns, which were distributed to various churches around the world. To behold it is to confront the fragility of flesh and the immensity of sacrifice. It is to understand that sometimes true royalty is recognized in wounds, not in thrones. Today, we have traveled through tunics darkened by centuries, staffs that opened impossible paths, stones that heard the voice of God, and relics that still whisper their truth from the most ancient corners of the earth. Because even if empires fall, even if human voices fade, some sacred footprints remain. It is not just about vestiges of a distant past. It is about faith, about hope, about the profound certainty that light can never be extinguished by darkness. If you have felt that something within all of this has touched you, if you believe that sacred history still lives among us, write in the comments, "Faith never dies." Also, leave a like to help more people discover these forgotten secrets, and subscribe to continue traveling together through the stories that time could not erase. Because here, the journey is just beginning, and the best is yet to be revealed.